In this video, I'm going to explain to you what happens to us when we are facing difficult situations with different people, and we are kind of like making this decision whether we are going to engage with the other person and confront the other person and encounter the other person as whatever happened that we need to really engage, or are we actually avoiding the situation? Are we avoiding this other person? Are we avoiding the conversation? Are we avoiding the confrontation? So I'm going to talk about what happens here in our system and what to expect. We all have been in that moment at least once in our lifetime. I am sure of it. I've been there plenty of times in my life, in my earlier years and in adulthood as well, that, I see that somebody misbehaves towards somebody else in a meeting or in a team somewhere, or perhaps I was mistreated myself, or somebody misbehaved or spoke in a way that wasn't, great and wasn't good and was hurtful and very, very destructive. So this is important that we notice what is going to happen in us. Immediately, let's take an example. I think, for example, I love to use this very simple example because it gives a good start for it. For example, in the meeting, if you've ever been in a place where you are explaining something or somebody else is talking, and somebody is rolling eyes when the other person is speaking, and everybody sees it, but nobody says anything. I'm sure you remember those moments. And everybody just simply continues doing what they're doing, or the agenda goes on and people continue talking, but a lot of things happen underneath and, in front of everybody, but nobody's reacting. And actually you feel in your heart, deeply in your heart, that you really need to say something, that you have this sense of urgency and you feel that, this is not okay. I really need to confront this person. I need to say something. But you just sip it and you don't say a thing. So this has happened to us. We've stayed quiet. So what happens in us in that moment? That we stay quiet and we don't speak up when we need to. And it's not that we need to speak up in every single teeny tiny moment. If somebody doesn't say, smiley good morning to you when you walk to your office or somewhere, you don't have to have a 1 hour therapy session or a conversation after that. Maybe the person had something, or maybe, whatever happens, you have this, you have the feeling that, and you think good thoughts about other person. So you don't have to start dealing with it heavily or confront the other person. And why didn't you smile to me in the morning? So forget that. But those things that are really important and matter to us and actually are affecting our mutual work, for example, it is very important to confront those situations and those people as well. So what happens in that very particular moment when you see that something, destructive is happening, and you simply you feel in your heart that you need to say something, but you stay quiet. Our system actually activates very quickly. We anticipate fear and what happens after fear. We are fearful of different things in that very particular moment. And I'm going to explain them in a different video. But here, what happens that our system and our mechanism, this anticipation starts to kick in. We anticipate fear. And should I give him feedback? And if I say give him feedback, what happens then? Maybe he gets upset, maybe I get upset or whatever. I don't want to rock the boat. So we anticipate something bad to happen and fearful things. And within that anticipation, just in a few seconds even, it can be conscious or unconscious, we make the decision whether we are going to go forward and engage with the person, or are we going to avoid the situation? We make this decision very quickly. As I said, it can happen unconsciously, like this, almost like automatic autopilot, or it can be a conscious choice. So this is the first phase. Let's look at it in this way, that what happens to us if we don't engage and what happens to us if we do engage. There are a few things that affect us. First of all, in that decision-making process, if we have resources, if we have acceptance, for example, of feelings and we have organizational support, for example, if you're in a team in the place you work, it's more likely that we engage if we have this support system that yes, we are candid with people, we are truthful and honest, and there is this, policy that we engage and we talk about difficult issues and topics when they emerge, then more likely we are to go forward and engage. But if we lack resources, we lack support, if we have a very difficult phase in our lives, we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of hardships, it's most likely that we don't engage because we feel that we don't want to have more havoc in our lives and more difficulties and troubles. So it's very important to recognize whether you have support, mental, emotional support, support from your company, for example, that values that we hold dear. We live up to our values. We don't mistreat people. We don't talk to people in a disrespectful way. So this makes a difference in the moment of making that decision. So what happens if we habitually avoid these engagements when it's important? What happens to us? When I realize what deeply happens to me when I continuously avoid and live in avoidance because I want to maintain the peace, I realized that I abandoned myself. Every single time when I'm feeling deeply in my heart that I need to engage and I need to have this conversation and I avoid it, I abandon myself. And that was a huge realization to myself that, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. Because I don't want to live the life of regret. And I don't want to live the life that, I don't live up to my values. That's a bad place to be. So we need to pay attention to it, that we do not want to abandon ourselves. Because when we abandon ourselves, we abandon our values. We abandon anything and everything that is truly meaningful to us, those valuable things in our lives, that life is meaningful, other people are meaningful and important and valuable. So think about this abandonment, and in what way have you abandoned yourself when it comes to engaging with other people because of fear that you have? And what happens if we start to engage, if we make continuously this decision that, I'm going to engage, I'm going to confront this person, regardless of how I may feel myself, because I feel it inside that it's really important. If I don't, it's going to affect how we work together, how we are together, and it's going to bubble there, it's going to be boiling there, and it's not going to disappear. It's not going to go anywhere. So what happens when I make that decision that I'm going to engage? It's the most powerful thing that will start to happen when you make that decision. You will start to create an atmosphere, an energy of dignity. That every human being around you is valuable, you included. Everybody will start trusting you in a deeper way. You trust yourself in a deeper way. You are standing up, living up to your values, and you feel a sense of accomplishment and inner calm and peace. Your courage, you become more courageous. Your courage increases. And you're more content with your life and more happy with your life. Years ago, when I made that decision, I have to say that, I've had plenty of very difficult places and, I really didn't want to engage, but I made the decision that I will engage with that person. I will just come and talk from my heart. Of course, it's a place of vulnerability. And because it's a place of vulnerability, it means that you become truthful to yourself and you show who you are to the other person. And that's the beauty of it. That's the absolute beauty of it. And I have never regretted it that I made that decision, but it was the start. I had to make the decision that I will confront when needed, when it is important. I will confront the other person and engage. And I will always give the other person an opportunity to actually be open as well and deeply hook with dignity and deeply engage with dignity. Dignity is so important to us. So it leads to courage, orientation, and more contentment and happiness in your life. It has done that to me. And, think about this in your own life and start to practice from one teeny tiny step. First, make the decision. And then start from the easier things, when you feel in your heart that you need to engage. Usually they are quite powerful things because they are meaningful to us and evoke emotions. But still when you have made the decision, just start from somewhere. And perhaps with the easier person in your mind. Good luck practicing and have fun with it. Be compassionate about it. And let yourself, if you fail, get up and try again. Always get up and try again. You will succeed. I can assure you that.